citizens as human shields and cites what it says are numerous examples of the terror group using human shields in this current conflict. What do you make of that?
Well, look, after over 10,000 people killed, 70% of whom are women and children, for the Israelis to claim that they are trying to protect citizens is, honestly, it's an insult to one's intelligence. When 1.1 million people are asked to leave their homes or risk death, that is not a protection of civilians. That is forced displacement. And UN agencies and other agencies have said that there's no safe place in Gaza. And even the areas that they have asked people to seek refuge in, those so-called safe zones, they have been attacked as well. And never mind that the evacuation orders are sent online or on television, knowing that there's no electricity in Gaza since the beginning of this war. These evacuation orders, I do not believe, are for the benefit of the Gaza civilians. They are not the target audience. The rest of the world is. It is Israel's attempt to try to legitimize their actions. And when it comes to human shields, I think we need to defer to international law. Of course, the use of human shields is criminal. But even if one side puts a civilian in harm's way, that civilian is still entitled to full protection under international humanitarian law. That is the global standard, and no nation is exempt. So before firing any bullet, before dropping any bomb, it is the responsibility of the nation to weigh the risk to civilian life. And if that risk is disproportionate to the military target, then it is deemed unlawful. And frankly, I find it really outrageous when Israeli officials audaciously dismiss Palestinian casualties as human shields. In a place like Jabalia, which is one of the most crowded corners of Gaza, Gaza being one of the most densely populated spots on Earth, civilian death is not incidental, it is not accidental, it is a foregone conclusion, and that makes it a war crime.
Queen Rania, we are seeing a significant rise in anti-Semitism in the US, particularly on college campuses. We've also seen a significant rise in Islamophobia and attacks on Muslim students. As hate and fear grows, how worried are you, and what can or should be done to bring that temperature down right now?
I want to absolutely and wholeheartedly condemn anti-Semitism and Islamophobia. It's never okay, it's never justified to attack somebody based on their political beliefs. But I also want to remind everyone that Israel does not represent all the Jewish people around the world. Israel is a state, and it alone is responsible for its own crimes. Jewish people around the world, many of them are appalled by what they're seeing. And, like you said, Islamophobia is the other side of the same disease. And we, Muslims, we have to be the first to condemn anti-Semitism. We have had a long history of peaceful coexistence. So this is not about religion, it is about politics. And what we've seen in recent years is the charge of anti-Semitism being weaponized in order to silence any criticism of Israel. So defenders or supporters of Israel who cannot defend Israel's actions or conduct, they revert to shutting the conversation down by equating criticism of Israel with anti-Semitism. Let me be very, very clear. Being pro-Palestinian is not being anti-Semitic. Being pro-Palestinian does not mean you're pro-Hamas or pro-terrorism. I think Israel deserves more from its allies than just unequivocal support. I think it deserves some uncomfortable truths, because if you are a real friend, you support your friend when they're right, but you also tell them when they've crossed the line.